Yo! What is up?
So tonight,
Today we have just launched Pro Magic Live, which is very exciting. It's been a long time coming. It still doesn't feel like, I don't know, there's no word for it. It just feels like it's here, it's starting, we've just launched it. So I'm excited about everyone being able to grab a copy and really get to see the real stuff, the professional repertoire of stuff that I do day in and day out.
Done any stuff lately?
I did a show today, actually. I did a show for it was for like a summer pool event, but everyone was sort of dressed up in cocktail dresses and things like that, and I did probably about 5 to 6 of my favorite tricks I do in this sort of situation where it's sort of like cocktails, like 1 or 2 drinks, champagne, and of course you can learn that on Pro Magic Live, which is really cool. And people were just like loving it. They were just laughing, and they were girls, and it was pretty cool, man. It was just good to know that the tricks I do are going to get reactions. You know, like I've done them so long, for so many years. They're my favorite things to do in that sort of situation and environment, and yeah, it's great at being able to have that kind of repertoire up my sleeve that I know I can go to anytime. And the thing today as well is I changed up a couple of things. Like I've got my key signature things that I'll open with and I'll close with, but I was like, I want to try this way. Or this group was, you know, one of the things I did was sponge balls, and they weren't really they're not liking it, but they weren't grabbing onto the sponge balls routine as much as I liked. So I did one, did one move or did one phase, pushed that aside and moved on to something else. We moved on to this really cool rubber band effect, and for some reason they really loved that. Sponge balls they weren't that connected with. But that's the great thing about having so many awesome tricks to work with, is that you have to read your audience. And if they don't like one thing, you go, cool, that's okay. I've got another great routine or an effect up my sleeve that I know is going to get a guaranteed reaction. They'll probably like this. So it's working and it's dealing with the kind of crowd you have. But yeah.
So that makes sense, yeah. So not every effect is going to work. And that's why you just can't have one.
Not every effect is going to work. Every effect you'll get some reaction, don't get me wrong, but it's sometimes different for different groups. You know, as I said, like did sponge balls today for, I think probably I did about 20 groups today over a couple of hours, and sponge balls probably, sometimes I change it up, but I did sponge balls for most groups and they love it.
And you talk about that, right?
Yeah.
In Pro Magic Live.
Yeah,
You've got an interview or something.
We got an interview, we got some bonuses, we got some, we got notes about it, even for sponge balls, things like that, explaining how not every audience is the same, so you've got to be able to adapt to the situation and stop, go into something else. But you know that each effect is super strong, but they just connected with the rubber bands better. I don't know why. It's just, that's life. You can't pinpoint it. Maybe they thought it was childish, or maybe they thought, that's cool, like it's disappearing, appearing. Like to people, they love it. But then the rubber bands, you know what I mean, which you'll learn shortly in the future videos. Like you've got these 2 rubber bands, they melt through each other. Then you have 2 rubber bands, it turns into 1 rubber band, and then 1 rubber band breaks and then it restores. It's like, that's cool, so yeah. But knowing that you have those kind of tricks up your sleeve, knowing that you can go to it at any time and change it up, is pretty strong. And that's where you need that kind of repertoire. You need that as good foundation of tricks that guaranteed will will be able to work for any audience. So yeah,
awesome.